Hey, what is going on, everyone? Scartifist here. This is going to be another video discussing the 1.0 release of Freeman Guerrilla Warfare. I did a previous video in November. That's going to be on the end screen if you want to check that out. But I didn't think I'd be doing another one. I'm not going to lie. I thought the release date was going to be slated for somewhere between mid-December probably or New Year. Turns out it wasn't, and for good reason. The devs are going all out, guys. All the things that they're adding are going to guarantee that this game comes out swinging on the 1.0 release, guys. And let me tell you something right now. From a business point of view, it is a smart choice. I'm not like a dev, but personally, I know for a fact that if I'm releasing a product, or if you're releasing a product, you want to make sure that the first stable full version release is good enough to retain, consumers. Otherwise, you're going to get refunded and the game's going to lose all its hype. Look at what happened when they released Battlefront, guys. Look at what happened when they released Sea of Thieves, right? It's just a mess. Thankfully, KK Game Dev Studio ain't doing that. I'm super psyched about what we are actually getting in the upcoming update, guys. This is going to be a really, really good 1.0 release, and they can take all the time they want. There have been a bunch of dev posts since my last video, but I'm only going to talk about 3 of them, and these 3 I think are super, super key because there's a lot to unpack beneath each of these posts. So yeah, let's finally get started with this shit. So beginning with January 20th, this post basically lists these other zones or areas you can actually interact with and their functions. So right, you got village, hire cheap militia squads, take village specific missions, steal, and more. So I think this is going to be very good for the entirety of the game. Both early game because cheap militia squads, everyone's going to start out with militia squads. So yeah, this is going to be effective. However, I do wonder if this means that as the player, we no longer start out with a squad. Instead, we start out with money and we have to go higher instead. Like, I'm still kind of like unsure of how the starting gets balanced for us. But yeah, I guess we'll figure it out. Now, with a cheap militia squad, does this mean that militia squads are cheaper in the village? Or does it just pertain to the fact that militia squads are cheaper in general? Because if the village militia squads are cheaper than they are in the city, this is going to give an incentive for us, the player, to always go to the village to recruit. Granted, we're not going to be using militia squads for a long time, unless the troop tree has been reworked. Just food for thought, guys. So moving on, black market. Purchase high-end items. Now, I do have one question about this. Are the high-end items here available in every single city, or are they only available in the black market? Now, I hope they're only available on the black market because that makes the game a tad more interesting, but it also makes it a little bit more of a grind. Because if you have, these high-end items, let's say like a machine gun, right? You get that in a city, then there's no reason to go to the damn black market, right? Granted, if they are cheaper on the black market, then yes, you could still go there. But this is going to be the black market is going to be a big question mark for me. I'm going to hope that they have some items that you either cannot get in cities, or by the time you get them, it's going to be super late in the game that their effectiveness will have been dwindled. Yeah, that's going to be that. So mercenary camp, recruit high-level mercs. Now, based on the current troop structure, mercenaries kind of suck. So unless they've reworked this, I don't really know if there's much of an incentive to actually use mercs. Because if it's saying high-level mercs, that means 1, they're going to be expensive, so you don't really have money on your side. And 2, I don't think they're going to be better than faction troops, right? I think at best you might get something like an ARF Spec Op equivalent here, but I don't know. This is a big question mark for me because unless they've reworked that troop line, this is just, I think at least, is not as useful. I think it's the most useless of these buildings or these areas that you can go to. Because why would you recruit high-level mercs that are worse than your top-tier faction troops and more expensive than their equivalent, right? Not really a reason, but we'll have to wait and see. Bandit outpost, destroy it, and get awesome loot. I think this is just helpful for the early and mid-game, gives you more to do, and it also helps, build your power instead of searching around the map for, small mobs that you can get. Bandit outpost, destroy it, and get awesome loot. Mine loot if you defeat the guards. These 2 areas look like massive points where you can level up and essentially get stronger without killing bandits all the time in open field combat. So this just makes the early, mid game, and possibly late game just a little bit more, unique and fleshed out. Because right now, as we all know, there's only two things to do in the game. It's to kill bandits until you're strong enough to kill factions. there's not really much more to do, right? So yeah, by having a mine and a bandit outpost, I think this just lets us, the player, have a little bit of more, perceived autonomy, if you will, as to what we can do. Overall, this gives you more things to do in the game. All right, so let's move on to the next post, and this is basically about cities. We can visit the bar, meet companions, take quests, sleep, and sell prisoners. Now, I don't know what the sleep function usefulness is at. I gotta imagine that it probably functions like, you set up camp and you just chill out. Probably just to kill time. It's whatever. Sell prisoners. This is a very, very amazing change. I've wanted this for so long, especially because all I do with my prisoners now is garrison them in cities. Like, there's nothing, or kill them to convert better units, right? But being able to sell, this is going to make us, as the player, not have to rely so much on the casino for massive profits. So meet companions. So does this mean, like, all the generals now are, like, completely, like, gone from the army, or are they adding more? I got to imagine that they're probably adding more companions to the game, or they're probably shuffling a couple of companions that are generals and factions away. Like, they're making a couple of units, maybe like people like Sonya or Yuri, maybe making them like neutral. This will be interesting to figure out. Visit the barrack, hire troops. So yeah, this is what I was talking about. Hopefully that high-end mercenary camp does have an advantage over this. Otherwise, me personally, I'm just going to go to the damn city, right? Just to get my troops. Because if the mercenaries don't end up being better than some faction troops, there's literally no reason to use them. Visit the market, buy a weapon. Yeah, this is all normal and whatnot. Now we look at below. So this is actually something I've been super excited about, being able to build defensive structures within cities. Such a machine gun nest, which they confirmed. Now I wonder if we're going to have to garrison a troop there, or if it's automatically going to fire, or if we can actually get on the machine gun nest and start shooting shit down. That would be pretty sick. I highly doubt we're going to be able to do that. But, it's always good to speculate. Look, guys, at the amount of things we can do. Build defensive structures. Certain types of building give certain bonuses. You know for a fact that a lot of the work right now has been put into this. Just being able to create, a more flushed out and vibrant city. Judging by the looks of the buildings we can actually have, it does seem like cities are going to be a lot more lively. Like, they're going to play a bigger role than just being a freaking, site to collect taxes from. And if we look closely over here, I know it's kind of blurry. I couldn't get like a better image. We can actually adjust the tax rate, which I find to be amazing. So yeah, I got to imagine that there's going to be some sort of penalty for doing this, like maybe growth, or the obvious one, happiness, which is touched upon in the next post. But yeah, this is going to be something that I'm super eager to look forward to, like just being able to, micromanage cities and getting the best out of them. The new event system. So this dropped like 6 days ago from the time of this recording, and we're going to scroll down all the way to city events. So yeah, this is where the happiness comes into play, and I think 100% it's going to be tied in with things like tax rate. The higher the tax, more people aren't happy, right? Nobody likes to pay taxes or higher taxes. But yeah, let's just take a look real quick. Okay, this is super interesting. So we can have certain like unrest occur as well as criminal activities. Okay, so managing cities is also going to be a big thing, as well as happiness. I do wonder though if we can actually have. I wonder if like the city gets pissed off enough, can they like revolt and make like a sub-minor faction of rebels? If they could do that, that would be like, it would add a lot more consequence to the game. But overall, I love it. Like, these are probably just images you're gonna get when shit happens. Like, I gotta imagine this is where like criminal activity occurs. This is probably when like raiding, or you conquer a city, or maybe it's this one. I don't know. All these are, it just looks good overall. Okay, so diplomacy events. This is where I have my biggest question mark. The introduction of artillery support and helicopter support. Now, I don't know how this is gonna work. I gotta imagine though that it's gonna function similar to how it did when we had airstrike support, like months and months ago. This is way before 2.0. This is like in the 1.0 patches where you could actually like just press a button to call airstrike, and you had like 3 charges or something like that, and they would just automatically, the game would bomb shit up. Now, I do hope that this is properly implemented and it's something a little bit different than that. It does say over here that you can actually, other factions, if you're friendly enough, can provide you with artillery support and attack helicopter support. So is this something like you request it, or is it you're good enough and if they're nearby, they kind of just join in randomly? I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. Them asking for something in return probably is going to be something along the lines of money. Yeah, basically money. Now, my biggest qualm about this is, will this be able to deal with the OP vehicle problem in this current patch? Because right now, guys, you probably already know, I mean, I've done 2 videos on this. I've basically kind of bitched a little too much about this throughout my playthroughs, even though I found a way to deal with it. Enemy AI vehicles, driven me insane to the point of wanting to break. But no matter, it's been stated that they're being properly balanced. So yeah, this is going to be a good anti-tank or anti-ground vehicle unit. We just got to wait and see, though. I honestly think that with this, at least, I really think it's going to be something similar to just pressing a button and getting this little GIF animation popping up and having like damage numbers, right? It doesn't have to be anything too fancy. It just has to be something a little bit unique. And yeah, this is good. This will help make it so that vehicles aren't so overpowered. Even though they're balancing them, I'm pretty sure there's going to be, you know, situations where you're going to need this. Very, very helpful. World map events, randomly generated, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so this is ooh. Okay, wait a minute.
A few minutes later.
Destroy convoys, they'll make exploration more fun. Okay, so this is just a quality of life change. Okay, so overall, guys, this is looking to be a lot more of a complete game. My main concerns are probably just going to honestly be with, what is it? These little small encampments. Because if they don't provide an incentive to go back to, then it's kind of like you just go there and it's just there. Like, what I mean by this is, if the black market doesn't have some superb shit as compared to what you would get in a city, there's no reason to go to the black market. Like, I know it says high-end items, but like, what could you define as that? Is it available in the city? If it's not, then you got a reason to go there. Or if it's so cheap that you got to get it, then yeah, right? But that's honestly it. Recruit high-level mercs. Honestly, I don't have too high hopes for this because mercs, unless they completely rework the troop line, not going to be effective overall. Bandit outposts, these 2 things are probably just going to be early to mid-game power, and then this is probably just going to be helping you throughout the game. The village is probably the best thing, especially being able to interact. But yeah, I got some question marks with the mercenary camp and the black market. I do hope the black market works out good, though. So yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.